I'm back in our course project now, and if we now again switch to our model view and hide the properties here, then we now hopefully have a better understanding of what is going on right here. The relationship we created between our fact population and the dim-age table is a one-to-many relationship. So we have individual or unique entries for the age ID in the dim-age table, and we have multiple entries for the age ID in the fact population table, therefore the asterisk here. The arrow here indicates that the cross-filter direction is set to single, so the dim-age table can access information from the fact population table, therefore we can match the age ID from the fact population table, for example, to a specific age category. And more importantly, if we now, for example, also apply the same logic to the dim gender table here, so connecting the gender ID to the gender ID in the fact population table, then we create the same structure once again, so a one-to-many or many-to-one relationship here. And this is actually the many-to-many relationship logic that we saw on the slide a bit earlier. We have unique values in the main table, so to say, the dim age and the dim gender table, and we have multiple entries for the gender ID in the fact population table and multiple entries for the age ID in the fact population table. Therefore, this is actually the same structure that we saw on the slide. Now, in our report view, we could now, for example, switch our age categories by selecting the visual with our, gender, for example. So we can now take the gender, add it as legend value right here, which replaces the age category here. And now we have the gender and the correct gender distribution now because of this established relationship. Now, to finish the relationship here, we should also add our dim region table to this relationship logic. So let me put this down a bit. And we can do this by simply dragging and dropping the country ID to the country ID of the fact population table, or alternatively, we can also simply access the Manage Relationships option here and there create a new relationship. We can select this and now select the tables and columns that should be related. And first we select the fact population table. So this is our many case here. Secondly, we select the dim region table. Now we select our country ID in the fact population table, and then we do the same thing in the dim region table. And now we should be very careful about what we see down here, because for some reason Power BI automatically detected a many-to-many relationship, and this shouldn't be the case here. Actually, the dim region table should only contain unique values for the country ID, so many-to-one should actually be the correct relationship type, so this should actually be our option. If we select this though, we see that the cardinality we selected isn't valid for this relationship. And this is a clear indication that something went wrong in our data preparation. In such cases, make sure to go back to the query editor and further check what might cause the problem here. So if we cancel this and close the Manage Relationships option, then we go back to the query editor via Transform Data. And now loading these queries can take a few moments, even a few minutes in some cases, so you have to be a bit patient here. But once the loading process is finished, you should go to the dim region table, so the table causing the problems. And then if we quickly inspect our country ID or the country column, we see what problem we have. For example here, Azerbaijan. We have the country ID twice, so 31 and 31, and also the country twice, right here. And we see what causes this problem. The region here is, available twice, so to say. So we can match Azerbaijan either to Europe or to Asia. Therefore, we have duplicate entries here in our data, which we should get rid of. Now we could either investigate each single occurrence of this duplicate case now, which I would typically recommend, but for the purpose of this project, we can now simply go to our country ID column, go to remove rows and remove our duplicates. This will then exclude one of the two regions, and I think for the purpose of this course project, this is a valid approach. So let's select remove duplicates here. This then takes a few moments. As I said, it can also take a bit longer depending on your machine. Now we are done, and this means by going back to the data model now via close and apply, data is reloading, so this is all right. This again can take a few moments, but shouldn't take too long. So we can give this another try now. So let's again go to Manage Relationships, create a new relationship, select the fact population table and the country ID column, and do the same thing for the dim region table here. And now we immediately see that this seems to work. Now we have the many-to-one relationship, the one that we require here. So by pressing OK now, the relationship was created. And by closing this window, we see also the visual, confirmation that this was successful. And in our report view now, by going back, we can now, for example, switch our gender data here with our region data. So let's do this now. Let's add the region to our legend. And here in our legend, and of course also in the actual chart, we see that this was successful. Now we successfully created the required relationships for our course project. This means we can now save this project again. Please don't forget to do this from time to time. And we can move on to the next topic.